And so it's fair to say that since 1993, you've not, other than perhaps for ceremonial reasons, you've not worn a uniform on a daily basis.
Well, I don't know if I would call it ceremonial.
Well,
I had to wear a uniform.
You have to wear a uniform from time to time, but your daily role is as a clothed police officer, correct?
Yes.
And you're not out patrolling the streets, making arrests, things of that nature?
No.
All right. And it's fair to say then that your experience with the use of force of late has been primarily through training.
Through what?
Your training.
Yes.
All right. Meaning you're not out actively, other than perhaps arresting a homicide suspect, you're not out actively patrolling and arresting people for less serious offenses.
No.
Right. And so you describe the use of force continuum as including mere presence being a type of the use of force, right?
Yes.
And so when you arrive on scene as a lieutenant in the homicide unit, that is a use of force, right?
If people know I'm a lieutenant, yes.
Or if they know you're a police officer, perhaps. Right. And then you described like soft techniques like escort holds, things of that nature, right?
Yes.
And I'm assuming that in the last, well, since 1993, and you were promoted to sergeant, you've handcuffed some people in that time frame.
I have.
Right. When's the last time you got in a physical fight with a person?
About in 2018.
Okay, so it's been a couple of years since you've been in a physical fight with a person?
Yes.
All right. And so you would agree that the use of force as an investigator is, or the higher levels of force as an investigator, is less likely than a patrol officer?
I'm sorry, I don't understand your question.
I'll rephrase it. The frequency with which you have to use higher levels of force as an investigator doesn't happen all that often, right?
Correct.
And so your experience generally as a use of force or involving the use of force is primarily in this annual what's called defensive tactics training, right?
Yes.
And the defensive tactics training is one of the requirements you need to use or to complete in order to maintain your license as a police officer, right?
Yes.
And you would agree that, or I'm presuming that since 1985 until the present day, tactics have changed as a police officer.
Some tactics have changed, yes.
Right. And it's fair to say that you are not a trainer in the Minneapolis Police Academy relevant to the use of force, correct?
That's correct, yes.
You do not teach other police officers defensive tactics?
No, I don't.